Hey violinists, in today's video we're going to be talking about some simple exercises for you as a beginner to get a good sound on the violin. Stick around. Now, what is a good sound? To me, sound is subjective and sound is different to any person or any violinist that you ask. To me, a good sound is a sound that can help fill the room up and help get the maximum resonance out of your instrument. So how do we do that? In today's video, we're going to be exploring some different open string exercises to help you accomplish that particular aspect of playing the violin. So here we go. We're going to go on the A string, very simple. And I want you to just do a down bow. And I want you to be very clear and I want you to pay attention to where the bow is on the string. Each location on the violin is going to produce a different sound depending on how much weight you have. So for instance, I'm going to do a down bow near the fingerboard. You notice that it's a soft sound. Not it's a bad sound, it's just a soft sound. If I want to go a little closer, you're starting to notice that there's a little bit more clarity in the sound. And when you go even closer to the bridge, you are going to get a really loud sound. Now, we have to address why that is. The string is tighter when you're closer to the bridge. Naturally, the tension is very tight near the bridge over here. And the tension kind of goes down as you go down the fingerboard in this sense. So, but you might be thinking that this sound near the bridge may be too scratchy, or you don't know how to distribute your weight in a way that helps this violin sound as good as it can. So we're gonna put the bow in the middle between the fingerboard and the bridge, and we're not gonna press or squeeze or anything that causes tension in our hand. We're just gonna try doing a down bow and an up bow. Doing open strings on long bows is a very good exercise when you're a beginner, intermediate, or even an advanced or professional player. The reason for that is that you're really focusing on trying to get that good sound through really long bows. I like to do this even before my performances because it helps fight my nerves. If I'm feeling nervous backstage, I usually do long bows to kind of control my nerves so that I can be successful on stage. And I think it'll be successful for you when you try these long bows. And when we're doing long bows, try them on each string, of course, E string, D string, and the G string, in addition to the A string. And I want you to focus on having good, smooth bow changes. So let's try that. So we're gonna try on the A string. And then I notice with a lot of beginner violinists, when I do a down bow, they decay the sound. We want to try to maintain the weight of the bow because naturally it's going to be more difficult to produce a sound in the upper half. So when we go down bow, we want to use a little bit more weight to maintain that same sound. So it's all about the distribution of weight as we do a down bow and an up bow. Naturally, when you do a down bow, you don't have to use a lot of weight. You kind of let the frog in the lower half do its thing. But as you go beyond the balance point and beyond the middle tip, that is where you're going to want to maybe use more of your arm to sustain that sound. And that's the key word, sustain. Because if you're sustaining your sound, you're going to achieve a nice smooth level. You're not going to dip in volume. So we're going to go down and then up. So that is one tip. Use long bows to achieve that sound. If you're a beginner, you might experience some bouncy bow. Well, I have a solution for that. I'm gonna leave a card up here so that you can watch that video on how to reduce the shakiness of your bow. Because what essentially happens, just to kind of touch on it a little bit, that the balance point happens right over here, not in the middle per se, but a little bit lower than the middle point of the bow. So that is your balance point. And usually if you start down bow at the balance point, you're gonna bounce. So when you're doing these long bows, everyone, when you are doing the long bows, down bows, and up bows, I really encourage you to use the entirety of the bow. Because if you go down and then up, and then you stop here, well, this is around where the balance point is. And you're gonna have a shaky bow. And that's what I want you to avoid when you're doing these long sustaining sounds. Another great exercise is to use all the open strings as an arpeggiation, as an arpeggio. So I want you to try get that balance of the G string over here. I want you to really pull, so that way you're not trying. And then we're going to use all 4 strings. So you start really heavy, you get that grip. Once you reach the middle bow, then you're gonna have to use a little bit more shoulder and your elbow to get that smoothness and equal volume in the sound. So one more time. Notice how my sound is not, it doesn't sound like 4 steps. We want the transitions between the strings to be as smooth as possible as well. So when I'm doing a G string to E string motion, it's more of a rainbow motion. I'm using this like upside down, like U or rainbow kind of motion with my arm. Not so much the elbow and not isolating the fingers and the wrist. They all work together to get that sound, because we are talking about sound. We're not talking about bow techniques and whatnot. We're just focusing on sound. And to me, in my opinion, that has worked for me over the years, is having a shoulder that is relaxed, having an elbow that is relaxed, forearm relaxed. Relax is the key here, if you haven't even noticed that already. So we're gonna try again. We're gonna try on the G string, and then we're gonna go to the E string. And while you're doing this, you may even be working on your bow hold still. I want your bow hold to be consistent, and I don't want you to move your fingers just yet while you're moving. This is an advanced technique. This is not an easy thing to accomplish. So when I'm doing a down bow to the E string and up bow from E string to G string, my fingers are not, they're not switching. They're not doing anything different. They're not doing this, and they're not, overcorrecting myself. It's just trying to relax the hand in its most natural state. So I'm going to try this one more time, and if you want to follow along, you most certainly can. Here we go. And one last thing I want you to think about while doing these exercises, these open string exercises, and notice how they're not really involving the left hand. This is only for you to get a good sound with no left hand fingers. So any beginner can really focus on this from the very beginning. And while you're doing these different bow switches, I would love for you to think about the bow distribution of the bow. So if you're playing 4 strings, you divide it up into quarters, 25% each. And that is gonna give you like a visual representation. It's gonna give you a visual idea of how to change each string depending on how much bow you are having and what part of the bow you are at. I hope this video was helpful for you. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Eric. I'm a violinist. I do a lot of violin tutorials on this channel to help you become a better violinist. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. If you like this video, leave a comment down below. What are some tips that you use or some tips that you have for anyone in the community who's watching to help with open strings? Leave a comment down below. And if you're not subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe, hit the bell notifications so that you get notified for when new videos come out. It helps me out to create more violin videos to help you become a better violinist. Also, I encourage you to take a look at some other violin videos that I have on the channel. I'm gonna leave videos over here and right over here for you to take a look at. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.